Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. Before I do that, I was going to acknowledge my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, I would be nothing. If you don't know him, get to know him. Easy, just ask him. Alright? Andre Berto, it's official, is facing Sean Porter. It's going down on Showtime. Sorry, I almost said HBO. April 22nd, live from the Barclays Center. And that's going to be awesome. So we got Sean Porter versus Andre Berto. And I just wanted to cover this because it's an official announcement now. The two guys are going to be duking it out. That's pretty awesome. Some more information for you guys. So BoxingScene.com, and all this information I'm getting is from BoxingScene.com. And BoxingScene.com, they actually covered the scorecard for Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia. I'm showing you the scorecard here. So basically they thought that Keith Thurman won the first 3 rounds. Garcia got the 4th. Thurman got the 5th. Garcia got the 6th. Then Thurman swept the next 3 rounds. Garcia got the next 3. The final 3, the championship rounds. So they had it 115-113 for Keith Thurman. I thought that Thurman also got the 12th round. Okay. So at the end of the day, I thought it was 116-112 for Keith Thurman. But I think most people agree that Keith Thurman won that fight, and his strategy worked. Right? He had a better strategy. I think even Danny Garcia knew that the fight was being taken away from him. So it is what it is. Now, here is the post-fight reports card, again from BoxingScene.com by Cliff Road. This is what he had to say. He said that in terms of the report card for Keith Thurman, pre-fight he thought that Thurman's speed was B+, Garcia's speed was B+. Post-fight, Thurman maintained his speed, Garcia had a lower grade. But this is the truth. What I think is that Keith Thurman's not the fastest dude out there. He's explosive. He's got a certain degree of quickness. Garcia impressed me in that he had also a certain degree of quickness and sharpness to him, you know. But the problem with Garcia was range. Thurman pretty much controlled the range of the fight throughout, and so he was able to control the fight. That was the thing. But Garcia impressed me in terms of his ability to take a punch at that level against a really full-blooded welterweight, and also his ability to hold his own in the fight, knowing when to clinch, knowing if he got, stunned or anything, how to also, he had defense, he had pretty decent defense, and then he was slipping, rolling, bobbing and weaving. He was doing a number of other things, snapping back, pivoting, rolling punches to get out the way of shots. So he looked really good in that respect. I always knew these aspects of Garcia was there when I watched Paulie Malignaggi fighting him. I noticed that. He also blocks punches pretty well. Still, Thurman was able to ambush him, land some punches, because Garcia rode the punch, so he would take some of the sting off of it. So Garcia is really a world-class boxer. He deserved to be champion for as long as he did. He's a very good fighter, and he also knows how to win by rounds. Just in this case, he knew he lost the majority of the rounds. Thurman also was a very strategic fighter like that. Now, in terms of power, they say that Thurman has A- power, Garcia had B power. They say Thurman's power is downgraded to B+, and Garcia's power to B. I seriously think that Thurman still has that wicked power. I just think that Garcia was able to take off some of the sting from the power. And other than the fact that in the first round he got stunned, I think that, and he knew what to do after he got stunned, I think that Garcia was able to ride Keith Thurman's power. And the reason why Garcia was able to do that is because Keith Thurman still telegraphs his punches. You can see his straight right coming unless he shoots it straight. If he shoots a straight right straight, but when he starts to arc and hook his straight right, you can pretty much see that punch coming, kind of telegraphs it. So that's the problem with Keith Thurman. In terms of defense, they have Thurman at a B and Garcia at a B. I think Thurman should be upgraded to a B+ because he has very good defense, underrated defense. So does Garcia, don't get me wrong. But I think he has B+ level defense, Thurman. I think Thurman has the better defense of the two. He was blocking a lot of punches. And also rolling under punches as well as he was sort of pivoting to the side of punches, so punches were missing him. Now, the intangibles. Keith Thurman, before the fight, was seen as having intangibles which were A and Garcia B+. Post-fight, they said Garcia is downgraded to B and Thurman had an A. I disagree. I think Garcia has intangibles which are like B+. He showed he has heart. He has the ability to continue through a fight under any condition. He has the ability to make some adjustments. He has the ability within his constrained, limited skills to maximize on those skills, and he has a lot of sharpness. So I don't know what they're talking about. I think Garcia really held his own in this fight, and he did a really good job. Thurman has championship qualities. I think Thurman stepped up to the plate, and he should get actually A+ because of this. He should have stepped up more, because compared to Garcia, he showed he had a lot more going on in terms of intangibles in this fight. So that's what I think. They go on to say that Keith Thurman, it was his fight to lose, but I really do believe that Keith Thurman was never going to lose this fight. I said it from the get-go. I never changed my mind. Garcia did look very sharp, and he really did train very well to be able to take the punishment, and he knew what to do if he got hurt in the fight. So all of those things are great, but in terms of Garcia ever being able to beat Keith Thurman, I just didn't see it. Like Keith Thurman said, the most that could happen in this fight was it ended up being a draw. Thurman's got too much going on for Danny Garcia to beat him, and people actually feel that Danny Garcia was catching up to Keith Thurman in the final rounds. Actually, that's not the case. When Thurman turned on the gas on Garcia, he just, was starting to land punches on him and push Garcia back. But it's just that Thurman decided to box him and approach him at certain times. Garcia was only able to time Thurman when Thurman would do something more than once, maybe 3 times or 4 times, and then Garcia caught on to it, and Thurman would change up and do something else. So I really like this fight for multiple reasons. It showed that Danny Garcia, he wasn't just going to get punched out of there. But I think a lot of people knew that. And Thurman wasn't just this one-dimensional guy who was just depending on his power. Again, he showed that he could box and pick a fighter apart, even really rock a fighter, because he landed a number of lead rights on Garcia. Garcia still took the sting off the lead rights, but he had a number of lead rights on him, and a couple body shots, as well as the left hook was not as effective. He couldn't put his combinations together. He couldn't really get a right hand left hook like he wanted to, but he would probably throw, for instance, a right hand and left hook to the body, or he would throw a right to the body or a jab to the body and come up with a right to the body as well. So he was also working the body of Danny Garcia. Garcia has to work on one thing, I think, that would help him a lot. If you're not going to lift your feet and you're going to slide, you might as well find a way, like Gennady Golovkin, to cut off the ring. You got to cut off the ring better. You can't just be sitting in the center of the ring. You got to slide in and anticipate where your opponent's going to be and cut him off. That's the one thing Danny Garcia needs, and that will really help him big time to force his opponent to engage him some more. I know it's harder to do it against a very mobile fighter like Keith Thurman, or a very mobile fighter like, say, a Manny Pacquiao. That's what Danny Garcia has to do. He's got to build more speed and anticipate what the opponent's going to be, so you can cut him off one way or the other. And that's the thing that Gennady Golovkin does well, at least with the level of opposition he's faced. I don't know if he'll be able to do that against Danny Jacobs. He won't have a problem doing that against Canelo Alvarez, because Canelo Alvarez will be there in front of him, right? But I could see him having a hell of a lot of difficulty trying to do that to Erislandy Lara, for example, who he really perpetually moves throughout the ring. Keith Thurman would not let Danny Garcia plant and set. It's another thing. So maybe against a fighter that's actually coming to Danny Garcia, I wouldn't say Sean Porter, because Sean Porter also waits on the outside and then just kind of spring attacks you. Because Garcia will catch Porter with some shots, but if I know Porter, Porter is going to be so fit that it don't really matter. Porter could walk through some of Danny Garcia's shots, but his career is going to disappear soon if he keeps on doing that, though. But the tenacity of Porter against Danny Garcia, that would be crazy. Garcia rematching Peterson would be a better fight. I think they both came up from super lightweight, so that would be a good matchup for them. But as to, you know, the information I just gave you guys, the Andre Berto announcement, the Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia post-fight report card, and of course the Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia scoring that people from BoxingScene.com had, we can see that most people agree that Keith Thurman beat Danny Garcia. It wasn't a robbery. I hear some people saying it was a robbery. I heard Danny Garcia's father talking about how the judges had it wrong. Some people say it was a close fight. I would say it was a competitive fight. You know, it was a competitive fight. But I wouldn't say it was close. I thought 8-4 is not close at all. This is an 8-4 fight in my opinion. You can say 9-3, 8-4. So at the end of the day, this is what I thought about the fight, and I thought I'd give you guys some information from BoxingScene.com on what people thought about the fight. Some people thought it wasn't as exciting as they expected it to be. It started off very exciting, and bums away and stuff. And the guys did scrap with some bums away for a while as well. I thought this fight was, again, a very classy, well-schooled fight by two well-schooled fighters who are smart fighters. And I like seeing that. Danny Garcia, when he beat Amir Khan, it wasn't by coincidence. I mean, when you look at what Danny Garcia did to Amir Khan during the fight, leading up to the knockdowns, it shouldn't have been a surprise to anyone that Amir Khan got knocked down. Now, as much as Danny Garcia calls Amir Khan a very good boxer, I have to disagree. I think that Amir Khan, if he faced Keith Thurman, Thurman would just destroy him. And the reason being, two things. One, as fast as Amir Khan is, he still keeps in line with certain shots. And Keith Thurman is known, he's the king of the overhand right. He's the king of the straight right. He's the king of the right hook. And that's just a devastating punch for Amir Khan. Then Keith Thurman comes with that left hook all the time. So those shots still give Amir Khan problems. Virgil Hunter's been trying to sort out Amir Khan, but Amir Khan mostly fights from distance. He's a range fighter. That's why Amir Khan couldn't pull off what Mayweather did against Canelo Alvarez, because he can't fight on the inside with Canelo Alvarez. So Amir Khan versus a Keith Thurman or Danny Garcia is just going to end up getting him knocked out again. And he's been knocked out quite a lot. And Manny Pacquiao might just get his knockout against Amir Khan, but Pacquiao's a little bit different in that he's southpaw, and how he approaches fighting, he also has to get within range. Not that he can't, because he probably will against Amir Khan. Amir Khan will fight back, but I'm just saying that when you look at Pacquiao versus Khan, that would be an interesting matchup still. I've never seen Khan get knocked out back-to-back. But if he does get knocked out by Manny Pacquiao, which it could happen, but I don't really see it happening in that fight. If he gets knocked out by Manny Pacquiao, he should just call it a day with his career, because his health is in jeopardy. And he has to think about it. You have to think about your health when you're in boxing. So if I were Amir Khan and, you know, I need to go use the toilet, man. But if I were Amir Khan, man, and, you know, I got knocked out one more time, back-to-back knockouts, I just call it a day and just move on with something else. He's still an in-demand dude, though. So, Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman would be an interesting fight, because Keith Thurman likes to move, Pacquiao likes to move. That would be an interesting fight. Keith Thurman versus the winner, Kell Brook, Errol Spence, would also be an interesting fight. I still don't see Errol Spence beating Kell Brook, but hey, I probably don't know the full repertoire of Errol Spence. Everybody's calling him the second coming. I don't see it, but maybe I haven't seen it yet. That's probably why. So he's spoken of very highly. Gave Mayweather some of the work. I think Mayweather Promotions will be promoting part of that. I look forward to seeing if my boy Errol Spence, he can do something with Kell Brook, because Kell Brook Kell Brook's classy, man. Kell Brook can do some stuff. So I don't know, man. Now I know that Errol Spence Jr. is bigger. He's taller. He's got a better reach than Kell Brook. So those things could work to his advantage. So we'll see what happens in that fight. But I don't think he's gonna hit Kell Brook with anything that Kell Brook hasn't felt before. I don't know if he can work Kell Brook's body, because Kell Brook is a dude who covers his body pretty good. But I've seen some things when Gennady Golovkin was able to land some shots to his head, and he caught Kell Brook once or twice with some body shots. So we'll see. If Errol Spence Jr. can hit like Gennady Golovkin, I think he has a good chance against Kell Brook, which is probably highly unlikely. But hey, you never know. So I mean, I think it's a big ask for Errol Spence Jr. If he can get past that. I know it's going to be a great learning experience for him, but if he can get past Kell Brook, he deserves, I give him all the praise, man. He deserves that IBF title, and he deserves to just unify with everybody. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. Until then, you guys have a great one. And just remember again, Jesus, man, he's really important, guys. And if you want to get to know him, man, just ask him. Just ask him. Yeah, he don't look like he's there. You can ask in your mind, but just ask him. Remember, this is sport. This is fun. But, you know, the times are different, folks. So I'm just suggesting this to you guys. You guys have a great one.